Hello there, I'm Tim and he's John, and this is How to Murder Time, a podcast about games and things.
Hello, everybody.
Watcher.
I'm hot.
It's us again. Yeah, it's quite.
It's
It's
summer.
quite pleasant in here, actually.
Yeah,
I quite like
it's
it.
the nicest bit of the house.
Yeah. It's been like.
It's not exactly game playing weather, though, is it?
What? It's stay indoors, away from the burning eye in the sky type weather.
Yeah, but PCs give out heat.
Yeah, I had a weird thing earlier today. I was dipping into Warframe for a little bit of a go, and I pushed the play button on the launcher, and it immediately launched a web browser page saying something is wrong, hardware fail detected. Warframe's web page on their website, and there's a big list of things like don't overclock your PC. Perhaps you've got a memory problem. That kind of thing. And I thought, hey, what? I haven't done anything. I haven't changed anything. But apparently, I don't know. I rebooted the PC, tried again, it worked. So.
Have they?
But overheating was one thing that was on that list.
Have they, by any chance, got a loop which goes through adding up numbers, and if it doesn't add up at the end,
I think it's speed hack detection.
Yeah.
Yes, that's probably what it is. It didn't say so, but apparently you're not supposed to overclock your PC because Warframe doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I reckon they've got some kind of cheat detection going on in there, although I don't really know why, because it's not hugely competitive.
Oh, people will still cheat.
Yeah, I suppose there is PvP in there, I guess. But but yes, the weather. I've been quite liking it, but then I do work in an air-conditioned office and have an air-conditioned car, so I've been limited to the exposure.
I
wander out at lunchtime and go, oh, this is nice. And there are people who have to spend like 8 hours out in it doing stuff, and my sympathies go out to them.
When I walked into the village last week to buy some croissants,
this is a first world problem coming up.
This is trials and tribulations of being unemployed.
Yeah, oh, right.
There were some workers doing a garden, and I felt really sorry for them as I walked past them when they bought myself a cold drink.
Got yourself a cold drink and a croissant. Yeah. That's. And I'm sure their sympathy was. The sympathy was well.
I didn't talk to them. They were.
He should have bought them cold drinks. Yeah, I've sympathised with your plight.
They looked busy.
Here are some cold drinks. No,
they looked like they didn't want reminded that it was 30 degrees.
It might have come across as taking the piss. Yeah, fair enough. So we should probably talk about some games and things.
Okay.
I'm going to open with Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which frankly is the most ridiculous game title I've ever come across.
This is not a game I expected you to play.
Darkness, the darkness thing. Yes.
Even darker.
Genericing. Yeah, it's I don't know, I've had my eye on it for a while, and it came up in the Steam sale, so I thought, all right, let's give that a go, because I'm a huge fan of Skyrim, and a lot of it came up in the games a bit like Skyrim, you might also like, and it was there, and I thought, all right, let's have a look at this. Really good. Really enjoying it. Very impressed. It's by Capcom. I don't know who the actual studio is or anything, because I don't really pay attention.
They probably don't either.
Yeah, and it's essentially a third-person fantasy sandbox, roambox questing type of medieval typey game with magic. Really good. It is a lot like Skyrim, including the backstory and setup. The dragons are returning.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've seen this story before. It's one big dragon has returned and is hugely powerful.
Was he the one that wasn't popular with the other ones, so he had to go to this universe instead of
I don't know. He's come from another dimension all of a sudden, and it turns up at you're a little fisherman at your coastal village. I have to say the character creation and customization options are fantastically detailed and elaborate. There's all sorts of stuff you can choose to create your own unique looking hero. And once you do that, that all happens after one of those increasingly common, inexplicably out of control, max powered prologues. Where a game decides that, oh hell, a reviewer's only really got 2 hours to check our game out. We probably ought to put it all, front load it all into the beginning and put that down as a prologue. So you turn up not having any idea what you're doing in a catacomb with 3 companions, and you in your big spiky armour with your huge sword and all your abilities. You have no idea how to work any of it, and it immediately throws you against a series of really terrifying monsters that are quite difficult to fight, and you're just flailing around with the controls. And then along comes a manticore. I didn't get past there. I'm not sure. I think you probably. The prologue went on much further than that, but I got killed, so I thought, okay, we're going to move on to the main game.
It's okay, you're not going to be good enough to play this game until much later, so let's go.
Yeah, it's all right. Nobody understands this prologue. You're fine. I thought, okay. So, a lot of games do. Do you think that's what that is?
It's partially that, and it's partially to keep people interested,
reviewers.
because you see what you're going to become rather than oh look, I have a rock and I can hit it against things to make.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, because most of these sorts of games where you're expected to put 60 to 100 hours of very long character progression in a massive roaming world and have quite a lengthy story to it. Obviously those take a while to get going. So I think there's a certain cynicism to that, in that a reviewer's going to play it for like half an hour and think, oh yeah, well, whatever, move on next, and give it like, the dreaded 7 out of 10 stars.
I think reviewers get quite upset if you suggest they only played it for half an hour.
I'm suggesting that reviewers are busy and have a lot of games to get through, especially in this age of like 2,000 games coming out every week on Steam. About 20 of which are any good. So you have all that, and that's quite confusing. And then the game proper starts with the opening cutscene, cinematic, and everything. Dragon turns up, sets fire to everything in your fishing village, and because you end up sort of in the crowd as this whole thing is going on. The dragon's flaming everything, and you pick up a sword and you run towards it when all the others are running away, because that's what heroes do.
Because you're an idiot.
Yeah, and you flail around. You flail around wildly with this sword at this dragon. The dragon, we're talking massive dragons here, sort of Guild Wars 2 scale dragons.
I've never attacked a dragon with a sword, and even I know without any experience I will be bad at it.
It's a stupid thing to do, yeah. I mean, this dragon is, we're talking sort of huge mecha-sized dragons here, rather than just slightly bigger than people dragons. And you're sort of stabbing away at its ankle a bit while it's flaming all your village and stuff. And you manage to stick your sword into its paw, at which point it notices you, and just the sheer gall of what you've done there causes it to single you out for a good blasting, and then it sort of claws out your heart with one talon and eats it, which you don't like. You pass out, you wake up not having a heart and a huge scar and glowing powers and stuff, and all the villagers are a bit scared of you because you're technically dead.
This sounds vaguely familiar.
The dragon's eaten your heart, and I think at that point you decide, the basic quest at that point I think is that you've decided, right, I'm going to get my heart back.
Yeah. Medical knowledge 101.
Yeah, I know. So a roaring rampage of revenge ensues. So shortly after that, you get a few little introductory quests around the village, helping them put stuff back together, put fires out, get medical supplies and so on. And it sort of settles down into a sort of quite familiar fetch questy type of pattern and so on. And then quite shortly after that, you discover that you have the ability to summon and command pawns. So pawns is the big thing in this game. And they're actually done very well, very clever. So the pawns are essentially party members. They're sort of interdimensional soulless warriors that respond to the call of the Arisen, of which what you are one of. And they come out of the mists, possibly from the same place the dragon came from. We don't know. That's perhaps a thing you find out later on. You come through this rift stone, and it sort of appears and drops to the ground. And immediately, you get one that's sort of predefined and comes and gives you a bit of exposition about it all. And then shortly after that, you get the ability to create your own pawn, your personal pawn who is loyal to you. And I have to admit, I'm continually chuckling at the use of pawn. The word pawn, using extensively pawn commander, pawn guild, etc.
I look forward to seeing what the automatic subtitles on YouTube make of this.
It's PAWN, as in chess piece.
That's not going to help.
It's not going to help, no. But yes, so you get to make one of these, which essentially is just the character creation again. When you create your character and the pawn, you get to choose from 3 different classes. There's like a striker, which is a sort of melee DPS dual dagger bow type person. There's
defender,
a fighter who is shield and sword and shield type, and mage who gets the staff and magical powers, and from there you can cross into, I think there's 9 different classes in total that hybrid in and out of each of those. So half striker, half fighter becomes an assassin, and so on. So you've got different sets of abilities and things that go with it. So it sort of deviates away from Skyrim in that regard, in that Skyrim you sort of just take a bit of everything and become everything at the end, whereas you get a bit more closely defined classes as you go through. So your pawns can have these classes as well. So, if you picked a mage, you can set your pawn up as a kind of tanky character, so it gives you a bit of complementary overlap, which is nice. And so eventually you can have 4 of these. You can have 3 of these pawns on the go, creating a party of 4, including yourself. So one of them is your own personal pawn. That's always yours. That comes with you everywhere. Levels with you. You basically buy their skills as well as buying your own. So essentially, it's like a party of 2. One of them's you, and one of them's your little helper. The other 2 pawns is really interesting. What it does. So the game has an online component, and this is weird because it's not an online game in the sense that 4 players, 4 people can go and adventure together. What it is that your personal pawn, and I mean there are options in the settings to go into offline mode and just not do any of this, or also But your personal pawn you can make available for other people to choose and recruit and take along in their
Definitely
game.
played this game.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay. So the two other pawns that you have in your party of 4 are pawns that other players have made and made available, and then you can summon them from the rift. Basically, the whole set of search criteria is when you go into this rift space, so you can say, right, I need a level 16 mage, I think, for the party, and you can search down the list, and you can search from friends as well. The default when I went into this rift space, so you walk into this rift space, which is just sort of black with clouds around the edges and various figures walking out of the mist towards you, and they're potential pawns you can recruit. And the initial set was all people who were on my friends list in Steam.
Yeah.
The pawns that have been made by those. So that was quite interesting. Unfortunately, and the thing is, if you use somebody else's pawn, they gain knowledge and experience of areas and monster techniques and stuff. Each of the pawns has got like a 3-star rating in fighting wolves or ogres or adventuring in this particular region or doing this quest as well. So if your pawn has completed a quest, that pawn gains full knowledge of the quest, 3 stars that increment. Then, when someone else takes that pawn on that quest, and they haven't done it before, that pawn is giving them helpful advice about how to do the quest as you're playing through. The pawn chatter is really elaborate and constant and surprisingly insightful and useful as well. They're constantly talking away, chatting away at you, and they put so much voice work into this game just to create the dialogue for the pawns, because they almost everywhere you go and everything you do, the pawns are chirping up and giving you useful, insightful advice on how to fight wolves, or where the weaknesses on cyclopses are, where we need to go to look at to sort this quest out. I mean, they almost sort of border on spoilerific to a point. The other people's pawns who have been on the quests before tend to become genuinely very helpful, and that's surprising. I mean, we're used to the sort of NPC back chats going on in these games. Skyrim's a good example. Lydia's constantly yammering away, but Lydia's only really got a sort of very limited set of stock phrases, and they're very generic.
Yeah, then after a while you realise you stop
catacomb,
talking.
I wonder what's inside. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Whereas these pawns in Dragon's Dogma, they're constantly pointing out useful things relevant to very specific places and people and events as you're going through, and that's astonishing. Of course, the downside of that is there's only about 3 or 4 different voice sets for them. Yeah. So it's but one clever thing they've done to try and mix it up a bit is they pitch bended some of them. So so you've got one voice actress. One voice actress has done the whole set for one particular NPC set that you choose. You can choose from about 12 different voice sets, and then that same voice set exists and has just been raised by about 3 or 4, a certain amount of pitch and a bit higher. I mean, some of them sound like they're on helium at the high end of it as well. but it's just amazing.
I want one that just sounds like it's auto-tuned.
It's a really clever and intricate system as well. I mean, I wonder how much it really adds to gameplay as a whole, where you could just make do with Lydia like normal and, just some dumb NPCs who go and do the fighting. But they seem to build and develop useful tactics and techniques for dealing with each individual monsters on the ground as well. The combat is fantastic, I have to say. I suppose this whole game invites comparisons to Skyrim. It's a very similar kind of thing, but there's so many differences in implementation that it does start to stand out as its own thing. I mean, the combat, as I say, is much more. It's very console-y because I guess it's designed to go on. It works well enough on a mouse and keyboard. But you sort of you pick 3 different abilities to map to 3 different buttons, that sort of thing, left mouse, right mouse, and E as the other one. But obviously those would be your buttons on the console. And you basically buy and unlock special attacks, passive abilities, and normal auto attack enhancements through experience points you earn in the game. And you use these special attacks in a very dynamic fashion. I mean, Skyrim is very good, but you wouldn't go to it for combat necessarily. That's not its strength. Its strength is the just the sheer breadth of world and the vast sort of diversity of things you can do and characters you can be. It's a game where you become personally very powerful in all of the disciplines and following great many goings on in the world. Whereas the combat is really tight and quite action based. The enemies are very clever and quite complicated to work with as well. Wolves, for example, you get the wolves very early on. Wolves and goblins are your sort of basic yard trash. The wolves work in packs. They come in and dart back out. They will try and distract while another one tries to knock you over.
That seems rather unfair.
Yeah, they're quite clever for yard trash. The goblins, some of them will go in and try and attack. They'll rage. Some of them will stand back and throw stones at you and so on. And then you start getting onto the bigger monsters, and the big monsters are fantastic set pieces. It's not quite Shadow of the Colossus, but you do have to literally jump onto them and start climbing around and stabbing at their armpits and trying to, oh, it's a Cyclops. Everyone knows you should shoot the Cyclops in the eye. Oh, that one's wearing a helmet. Right. Okay. But your pawns have done this much more than you have, because other players have been there before and taught their pawns how to do this stuff. So the pawns are shouting things like, shoot the armour. They're wearing, these Cyclops. Some Cyclopses start wearing armour plates, and you can shoot those with the bow to knock them off.
That's how armour works.
Well, yeah. If you can get the armour off, then you can reveal weak spots. But while the armour's in place, it's very hard to hit them. And you get things like chimeras. Those are a nightmare. You got the dragon's head, goat's head, snake tail, and these things are about 5 or 7 or 8 times the size of you and stomping around, bellowing, and all sorts of things. Harpies are a problem. They come in, they're aerial monsters. Obviously, they're flying, but they do a kind of a sort of charm attack as well. They sing as they come in, and if they circle enough and do the singing, then you start falling asleep, which is not helpful. And then they'll start grabbing you and picking you up, and you try and drop you from the heights, and you have to mash AD. I don't like that, to be honest.
No.
I don't like the mash to try and break free type mechanic. But again, your pawns, if you F1, 2 and 3 are sort of commands to the pawns will do their own thing, and they're pretty clever and they know what they're doing, but you can use F1 to go somewhere, F2's to come here, and I think F3's help. So if you mash help while you're being lifted off the ground and dropped from a height by harpies, your pawns will come in and start shooting the thing down, trying to grab you and so on. It's really intricate and fascinating. I think there's combo attacks as well. My sword and shield pawn tends to grab these hobgoblins into sort of half Nelson so that I can just stab at them repeatedly. That kind of thing. There's certain attacks and combos of attacks that will chain off each other. You can help each other out to do combo attacks and so on. It's really surprisingly intricate. I don't think I've plumbed the entire depth of it at all. I'm level about 30, 40, or 35 or so already. It's got levels. You earn XP as you level up and as you do quests and so on. And monsters will drop rift crystals, which you can pick up. So the pawn thing's interesting in that you have to pay this currency to recruit pawns.
Yeah.
But the base cost is 0 if the pawns are your level.
Okay.
So this is the interesting thing, because obviously my pawn level's with me, and my pawn's now level 35 or something. And if I make it available for other people to use, which is fine, that might not be the level they are. So if they come into the rift space at level 15 and see the pawn that's level 35, to recruit that, you'd have to pay a huge amount of these rift currency.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a level 100 and something pawn just come wandering through, because sometimes it populates the rift space randomly. And to hire that, I think I'd have needed about 1.5 million rift currency or something.
Okay.
So they've thought of sort of power leveling via massively over leveled pawns and put some kind of mechanism in to balance it, and it seems to work quite well. I don't know if you get paid rift currency to take lower level pawns. I haven't tried that. So essentially, you're earning currency to help level someone else's pawn. I don't know what happens once you've finished with the pawn. You send them away, because the thing is, these pawns do not the support. They're called support pawns.
Yeah.
So you've got your own pawn that levels with you and earns XP with you, same skills as you, and so on. The other two you hire, they don't level, which forces you to let them go after a while and hire new ones of a higher level, which rotates through. So you don't just pick the first two you come across and keep them forever. So that's interesting. These pawns are also used out in the world as well. You've got this rift space, you go into a stone, black smoke everywhere, and they just wander out the mists, and you can review them and pick some that are useful. But also, it's used all the time you're playing in the overworld and in the cities and stuff. It's sort of popping online to get more details of pawns and starting to populate them in the streets.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
The NPCs you're seeing wandering along the roads out in the wilds, they're also pawns, and they're hireable. And they use these to sort of bulk out the cities and villages and things a bit as well. You can see them just wandering around out there. I mean, they're wildly variable, to be honest, and I haven't found it useful to just wander up to a random pawn in the street and hire them on, because too often they're the wrong kind of class for what I need, or they're the wrong level or whatever. But it's a really intricate system. They could have just gone with some sort of pseudo randomization to generate NPCs out of thin air, or let's just plumb the vast array of what people have come up with. And it's quite fascinating seeing it. It's almost it's not quite the same as an MMO, in the sense that in an MMO you'd have hundreds of actual players wandering around doing stuff, but it's sort of an MMO by one step removed, which is a really fascinating concept that I've just not seen done anything like this anywhere else. It's interesting. So yeah, you got your main story, which involves you sort of the hero's rise to power, helping various people along the way, and eventually reaching the capital. The cities and the landscape are fantastic. There's one major city that's all sort of cobbled streets and tall, narrow Tudor style houses and a big castle at the back and so on. And the outside in the wilderness it's a pretty vast landscape as well. It takes time to get from place to place. You've got these teleport crystals you can use at strategic places to save locations that you can then teleport back to when you like in future. Yeah. But yeah, it's got that real open world feel to it that is something I thought was pretty unique to the Bethesda games, to be honest. Most people when they make this kind of game, they just don't make that kind of vast roam box. They'll keep it quite.
I can give you a small list of games.
There's some out there that I've not gotten to. I know Witcher 3 probably is one I ought to.
You need to.
I know. I'll get that.
Don't have to finish 2.
But this is a really sort of absorbing adventure roam box as well. There's crafting. I mean, there's just stuff everywhere that you find lying around: herbs, bits of bone, trophies taken from dead monsters, and they're all combinable in the UI to create consumables. Potions to remove this, that, and the other debuff or heal or whatever. And the equipment that you buy all comes with 3 stars of upgrade that you can. So it's not this sort of crazy replacing your loot after every fight type loot system. You'll keep the same gear for a fair while, and then eventually unlock a merchant who's got the slightly better ones. But those items that you're buying and using will also can be improved, enhanced with specific list of stuff. So rank 1 is just money.
Yeah.
Rank 2 will be some money and some bits from a particular type of monster, and then rank 3 will be quite a bit of money and some bits from quite a hard to find monster, that kind of thing. So you're sort of incrementing your power as you go, and it seems to work well. And the combat can be pretty frantic. It can be a little bit arbitrary in places. Particularly in some of the larger monsters. I'm wondering if I'm hitting sometimes you get ambushed by monsters you're just not meant to fight yet, perhaps. I mean, the dragon in particular, I've come across. I don't think it's the big dragon from the cutscene. It might be a smaller, different dragon, but I haven't worked out how to kill that yet. I've worked out that if you jump, you can grab on its tail because it's hovering. It's beating its wings and hovering and just flaming everywhere. But its tail dangles down, and you can reach that from the ground. So I managed to jump onto it and climb up, but then I didn't know what to do when I was up there.
Have you tried cutting the wings off?
Yeah.
Have you tried poking it in its eye?
You need to.
Have you tried a fire extinguisher in the mouth?
You need to clamber around and stab it in the right places or whatever. But I couldn't quite work out what was going on, and then it killed me. So.
Did you look for the bit that was a different colour?
It's not that subtle. It's subtle. It's subtler than that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I presume, I haven't had much helpful advice from my pawns on it either. Presumably, they haven't really encountered this.
No one else
either.
has been dumb enough to try.
Well, I tend to go around that one, yeah. But it's quite fascinating. It really is a sort of puzzle fight thing most of the way through. Most creatures, okay, wolves aren't. You don't need to know much clever stuff to deal with wolves. Just wail on them. But the way they sort of dart in and work as packs is a bit of a challenge. But stuff like these saurians, there's like these reptile or humanoid monsters with big spears, and they're basically utterly more or less immune to everything from the front. But if you can get around the back and cut their tails off, they don't like that. The tail's the weak spot, and the pawns are shouting, "Sever its tail!" And so you go around the back, chop the tail off, and suddenly they start freaking out. And
Do they wear armour?
No, but they're just really tough on the front. So yeah, it's you learn different ways to deal with different opponents as you go through. It's quite a fascinating thing. Really enjoying it, and I'm sufficient. I mean, the plots, like I've heard criticisms that the plot's a bit generic, not terribly interesting, and in the end, days are probably valid, but it doesn't really matter. It's a fascinating game on a moment to moment basis that I'm quite happy enough to bemusedly follow on with this obvious "you are the chosen one, you must deal with the big threat to the world that's a dragon" type thing. Perhaps it will surprise me as it goes along. I mean, there's talk of a cult as well that are sort of messing things up, a cult of humans that you have to try and thwart and deal with as well. But on the whole, it is you signing up to help the Duke deal with the big dragon. It's just really fascinating, and it sort of provides, in the same way Skyrim does, that you can sort of fire it up and go, right, what am I going to do today? Rather than many of these sorts of games where you log in and you go, right, now I must follow the quest tracker.
Yes.
Yeah. There's all sorts of things going on, lots of different side quests and interesting things happening here, there, and everywhere. And I'm just sort of appreciating the sort of steady steady climb of power and steady increasing competence and the ability to work within the game world and make it more of it under my dominion, as it were, in sense of, I now know how to deal with these monsters, and I can, whereas the first couple of times you have to fight an ogre, which is sort of different variant on a cyclops that are just much harder to deal with. They're clever. For example, you climb on the back and start stabbing away at the back of the neck. They just jump on their back, crunch out, bounce. You bounce off. They start. They do counter your countering attacks. It's an interesting game. I'm really surprised. I guess I don't know. Is there Far Eastern import?
I think it might have been.
Has a hint of a translation about it, but it's a very good translation.
I've got a vague hint that something on those lines. Yes.
Not that it particularly matters. It's really really good.
No.
I like it. So there you go. Dragons Dogma Dark Arisen, which is, it could do with a better title, I think.
Most games could.
Apart from that, it's very good.
Yeah.
It's down as overwhelmingly positive on Steam.
Ooh.
So obviously, there you go.
I think it's developed by someone quite famous.
I don't know. I should probably look into that stuff.
My memory is.
It had that sort of generic-y sound to the title. I'd always just glossed over it prior to while I was looking through games. I thought, I'll give it a go. It's on sale, and it turned out to be really very good. I recommend it highly. So over to you.
I'm going to talk about a game. You've just talked about a game with the worst name ever. I'm going to talk about a game with the best name ever.
Well, then hit me.
Called I Fair Lady.
Right. Okay.
This is, you remember Yorkshire Gubbins?
Yes.
The point-and-click adventure pixel art.
Mm-hmm.
This is the woman behind that entry into a game jam, which was a 2-week game jam.
Okay.
So entire game's written in 2 weeks. So it is a point-and-click adventure.
Yeah.
It's used the same engine as before. It reuses a lot of the graphics from before, but it adds something new to the mix.
Is that cheating?
No.
If you rock up to the game jam with an engine you've ready made for something else previously.
That's actually allowed.
All right.
But it adds something new to the mix. Can you guess what this new thing is?
Don't know.
It's a musical.
Because that's what the genre needs.
And you got a 2-week deadline to make a game jam thing. You make it into a musical. There's something slightly insane about that.
I don't know if I've ever come across a computer game that was a musical before.
There's got to have been some, surely.
There have been musical games, Guitar Hero and such.
Could we count Brutal Legend?
No, not really. I mean, the rock battles are an RTS fight, but there's not actually singing going on. It's notionally a sort of rock concert, but there's no actual rock music going on a stage anywhere.
I mean, this is a small half-an-hour game.
Yep.
Point and click. So you're basically needing to find a bunch of things to get past a puzzle.
Yep.
The usual.
Rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. And as you wander around, the robots have declared that it's set in Yorkshire. 100% accurate Yorkshire. So the robots have declared that today is compulsory singing day, so everyone has to sing, and you get a 20p fine if you don't.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Harsh.
Yeah, for Yorkshire, yes. And so Steggy, the heroine, doesn't like this.
Right.
She doesn't like singing and doesn't think everyone should be having fun that way.
Is this the plot from We Will Rock You?
I don't actually know.
Anyway.
And so she decides that she needs to enter a singing competition to meet the person in charge so that she can stop him.
Right.
And so you basically have to find a way to enter a singing competition or win said singing competition while being able to dance. And you have to win this to meet the guy so you can make him stop.
Okay. Straightforward so far.
Yes. And there's no moon logic. There's absolutely no moon logic.
Okay.
You need to be able to dance. I'm going to small spoiler here. You need to be able to dance. There's a ferret.
Right.
Obvious.
Fair enough.
It's really good. It's really amusing. It's really funny. It's very, very short, but 2 weeks. Oh, it's free as well. And it's going to go into Yorkshire Gubbins as a free chapter in that.
Okay.
And it's really good and really fun and really entertaining. And I really like the fact that this exists.
Because what can be done in a fortnight.
Yeah, the mere audacity.
Was this just her, just her, or has she got a small team working on this?
Oh, just her doing the development.
Okay.
She's got voice actors,
right?
And she got them to do the singing for most of it, but she did some.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wrote all the music, most of the music.
In 2 weeks.
Instrumented it.
Astonishing. When you see these massive AAA jobbers taking 5 years and 250 people.
Well, you work in software as a general
I have
industry.
known to dabble.
Yeah, and you would agree that
I work in QA. I work against software.
you agree that I would imagine that the productivity of a team is inversely proportionate to its size.
It can be the case, yeah.
Put 100
There's an
people on a
overhead.
problem, and you'll get a lot less done than if you gave it to 2 people and told them to do it over the weekend.
Yeah, I think possibly.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's really funny. The music isn't bad at all. In fact, it's quite good. It's got the usual Yorkshire Gubbins robots and people, and the cast is quite a lot the same. That's new people. Which
makes sense if you've just got 2 weeks to...
And the music's not
something.
all of the same style either.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's really good.
Cool.
I really liked it.
So this Game Jam thing, is there like a website for that? A place we can look at the other
Undoubtedly.
exercise for the viewer. Yeah. Right, good.
Google it.
Yeah.
Look for Fair Lady.
There are no new questions.
It won, so yeah.
Fair enough.
You kind of throw me to do research.
Well, if that won, then perhaps the others are not of such a high quality.
Yeah. Some of us had to play a game between finishing the Grand Prix being on and you coming over half an hour later, and it fit perfectly.
Your dedication to the show is as high as ever.
I just did play other games.
Do you want me to talk about a thing then?
Then you can talk about it.
Okay, I'm going to do a what we're not playing segment.
Yay! It's the best kind. Sort of hypothetical.
No, it's a sort of post-mortem thing, really. I mean, so yeah, we've had quite a few static groups on the go, and it feels like a season of change. It feels like a season of
The Witch.
Well, it's a season of people going out and living lives and doing important things.
Long
that aren't
walks in
gaming.
the field, watching
Summer, as we call it.
watching the crops slowly turn from green to golden.
Yes, contemplating
Birds
the
of
deeper
prey
things.
circling overhead,
Anyway.
thinking, "Is that a vulture?
One thing.
Have I gone too far without water? Am I going to make it?"
You don't really do outdoors.
I am doing an awful lot outdoors. It's fantastic.
okay.
I can tell by my brilliant tan.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Right. So we're not playing Secret World Legends on the Monday. I think it's just scheduling. Lots of people busy. I didn't get past Egypt again. I'm never going to see Transylvania in that game, and I got a feeling this is probably my last go.
Yeah.
I just can't be bothered starting Secret World Legends
You're
again.
not going to go back to it after they relaunch it as a battle royale.
God. Fun. So Secret World Legends, I think Secret World Legends was a good idea and much needed implementation, but I think possibly, certainly from my own perspective, it's just too late.
Yeah.
I've just worn myself. I think if you'd never played Secret World before and came at it with Secret World Legends, you're probably going to get more out of it than if you'd have joined it in the first place back in the day. I think in terms
I
of
got very little out of it
in
when I joined
terms
it
of
back in the day.
a new player experience and just a coherent, solid game that presents itself as a useful thing start to finish. It's probably in a much better place than it was when it launched, which was a much more obtuse kind of thing. I mean, I get that it's meant to be a sort of some degree of puzzle-based search things on the internet ARG type thing, but that's for the investigation missions, not basic gameplay, which it often tended to be in the first place.
Yeah.
So the Secret World legendsness of it all has really helped. It dumbed it down, but it's a game I thought that did need dumbing down, frankly. But yeah, we got to where we got much quicker than in previous goes, but I must have blasted through Solomon Island about 4 or 5 times in the past now, and I don't think I've got the stomach to face it again.
No.
Ever. So I'm not sure I'm ever going to try Secret World again. It's just...
Is it possible to design a game where, even though you really want to replay it, and it avoids the problem of even though you want to replay it, you can't get past that first bit. Mass Effect being the one that's major for me.
I think any game that any lengthy story-based game that you play again and again and again, each time you play it, the early parts get more and more tedious. Not through anything it is or isn't. It's because of your own memories and expectations of it.
Do the early parts need to be more open world and less linear?
Well, in that case, yes. Well, perhaps. But
and do they need more hobbits delivering pies?
If you do that, then you have to sacrifice story, and story does not generally bear repetition much. I mean, everyone's got novels that they enjoy rereading, certainly, but you don't get the same kind of awestruck gripping page turning going on for second and subsequent goes through it because. Spoilers, So the more story-based and the more narrative your game journey, the less I think it stands up to repetition, which is fine if the basic gameplay is the nuts and bolts of moment-to-moment pressing the buttons to do stuff is fun and engaging. And I don't think Secret World really holds up in that regard. It is very MMO combat. As I said, the Legends side of it has made it better, made it more coherent. You've got some idea of what level the opponent you're facing is and whether you ought to be able to beat it or not. You've got some idea of which abilities you ought to put in the tray and which work well with each other and which don't. And you've got some idea now of what your role is in a group, which, all of that was pretty sort of nebulous and abstract in the original thing. So Legends is better at it, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it is still that sort of pushing numbers and watching little clocks on a taskbar cool down. I mean, just contrasting it to Dragon's Dogma, for example. Dragon's Dogma is full-on action combat with, proper... you're standing in the right place, using abilities and combos to fight, and there's no watching a clock to cool down, and there's no stamina bar. Well, there is a stamina bar actually, but that's part of the gameplay. You can't just constantly charge. You choose what to use and when. But there's something about that kind of MMO gameplay which hasn't really changed since EverQuest. I mean, I would, obviously text muds didn't have that kind of combat. I don't know what they did for combat. Maybe there's some rudimentary dice roll combat going on there.
What you had to do is you had to type in a lengthy description of what you were going to do. It was passed by the server, and then it gave back a lengthy description.
Well, maybe. I mean,
that's not entirely true.
Yeah, but most EverQuest style MMOs, from EverQuest running all the way up to today, they'll have a little combat window as well.
Yeah.
So you got your chat window with people typing and stuff. Then there's, there might be a guild chat window or whatever, but there'll be a tab on the little chat window which says combat, and you click that, and there's just so and so has hit such and such for this many points of damage, and blah 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 blah. And essentially, underneath all of it is dice rolls. You can do what you like with number keys and little cooldown clocks and jumping about. And some games, Age of Conan, for example, has positional shields, and if you hit it on the left side, you do a left swipe, then and it's got the two shields. It does damage reduction. Yeah, that just got tedious. It got annoying. But it's all dice rolls at the end of the day, and they just dress it up in visuals. Whereas a proper computer game is one where you're actually aiming, you have a reticle, and even then sometimes dice rolls creep into those, which is
any combat, any shooter,
where the gun has accuracy stats. That's dice rolls,
and any shooter on a console will have auto aim.
Yeah. I mean, so something like The Division and Defiance, pseudo shooters, are much more engaging and interesting on a moment to moment. And Warframe is, I'm constantly playing Warframe over and over. And I've seen the maps to death. I'm very used to the tile sets and the types of enemies, but the moment to moment gameplay is skillful and rewarding. Whereas just Secret World Legends, it doesn't really seem to have come on much from the original EverQuest style of push the button, watch the clock, push the button, watch the clock, and eventually it dies or you die, depending on which button you've pressed. I mean, and it's, I don't know, Secret World, the Legends part of it has mapped some of those abilities onto left and right mouse in a bid to try and create a more actiony feel of experience, but ultimately I'm sure it's still doing dice rolls behind the scenes.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
And it is all to do with where you're stood and watching the clocks. So I don't know, maybe I'm dumping on something which is not broken. Maybe that is a genre that is what it is, and that's fine. But I think perhaps I've grown out of that kind of thing these days. I don't know if I mean, I'm playing Lotro as well.
If you compare it to something like Diablo, which makes that sort of style combat fun.
Yeah, it's clicks per minute. Well, the thing with Diablo is that you don't have little clocks cooling down, I don't think. I mean, some of the special abilities perhaps, but the basic attack is you will attack as fast as you can clear, which at least keeps the feedback loop tight and keeps you involved. That's
the problem. The MMO design came from it being a client-server thing in a day where you were on dial-up.
I would like to attack. Okay, I'm sending my attack. There we go. I've sent my attack to the server. Now I'm going to wait for the result. Oh, here is the result. I have hit my target.
Whereas now
what do I do?
I put it to you.
I'm going to do an attack. Here you go. Here's my attack. That's essentially what is going on, but much faster.
I put it to you now, though, that computers are faster than that.
Yes.
Yeah. And the internet is faster than that. Because, these things used to run on dial-up. Remember you used to play EVE on dial-up?
EverQuest, the fundamental architecture of EverQuest, I mean, something we like about EverQuest, it was very good and very clever for what it was at its time, in that you can do that kind of apparently real-time computer game combat going on in apparent real time. And we're all on dial-up. I had a ping to the server about 300 milliseconds because it was US servers back in those. Very rare to see EU ones.
And that wasn't the reason why you were rubbish.
It wasn't the reason I was rubbish, no. I mean, the old style of the first generation EverQuest style MMOs were designed so that you could you could get all the two-way communication you needed well within the bandwidth available, which meant not sending much, which meant doing much of it on the client side and just validating the dice rolls at the server end. Anyway, long story short, I'm just finding that the moment-to-moment basic combat gameplay. I mean, I picked a Trickster this time, which is the Chaos focus, so it was a kind of kung fu martial arts tanking type of thing, and the animations were all right, but then there's always something a little bit detached, a little bit unconnected with all of Funcom's games. I don't know what it is. It's it's almost like a perceptual lag to it all. You don't react immediately. There's a fraction of a second. It's enough to detach you and make you feel like you're not really in control of the character. And then you're watching the clocks all cool down. And so I mean, you can divide all these games into hands-on and hands-off style of combats, and the MMO style of combat versus real-time combat, something like Battlefield, Call of Duty, Destiny, whatever. And I'm just really getting a bit fed up with... I mean, I'm playing a lot of Lord of the Rings online at the moment as well, but that's because I want to get through the story and see what that's all about and see the lands I've never seen before.
That's sheer bloody-mindedness.
It's sheer bloody-minded because the moment-to-moment combat in Lotro itself is pretty dull too.
Yeah.
It's not enough to carry it. It's not interesting. I mean, okay, I'm playing a Warden in Lotro, which means that you have an intricate gambit system, so you have three main buttons, and then it's the order in which you press them, and then the final execute button does lots of different things. So that at least keeps me busy and occupied and interested in remembering which gambit and what I want to use at any other time. But most of the other classes, I've got a little Lobie Hunter I'm just leveling to see the Shire with, and it's just push number one, push number one, push number one, and the Hunter basically just stands there and just nails stuff with really high damage attacks.
I'm well aware.
Really boring.
Well, I would put that up against a game like Destiny, which is a game which is effectively an MMO.
Yeah.
Which has hardly any plot worth speaking of. It is really, really repetitive when it comes down to the DLC start reusing the maps and things, and it is really a poor show all round if you're being looking at it from an objective point of view.
Yeah.
But the minute-to-minute shooting is so good that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is what I'm finding with Warframe as well. I mean, we're just endlessly repeating very familiar missions over and over in Warframe, and I'm loving it because the moment-to-moment is really engaging. It's fast. It's very, very tight. Again, you get none of this push a button and then half a second later your character mimes an action at another thing that mimes another action. It's right on there.
And then more content keeps coming. You'll have a little break between enemies and there'll be more enemies.
Yeah.
There's not a massive long gap where it sends you off to the other side of the map to go talk to someone.
Yeah.
Because you haven't taken enough time on it.
They're basically very tight corridor-based warehouse-type missions that you're just flying through with insane parkour, and that's very satisfying to do well. And then you come out of that and you fire up Secret World, and it's like, right, here we go. Two people miming at each other, and then if you feel like nothing. Secret World Legends is like 2 years now, a year. I think they've had their year anniversary. That's the Legends bit. Secret World itself's like 5 or 6 years old, and I think was it Anarchy Online's got 14-year anniversary, something like that. And you're just thinking we've not really. Secret World Legends and Anarchy Online. I actually did download and had a quick look at Anarchy Online and got totally bored with that. But you don't. The visuals have improved, but just I don't know. You just think we haven't really moved on that far, have we?
No. Well, that's
and then drop into something like Warframe.
To be honest, the MMO has not really progressed that much.
We seem to be moving away into hybrid forms. I think. I don't know.
I think the MMO failed, and what we're getting now is people taking the ideas from MMOs and putting it into other things, and I think that's a good thing because we will go back eventually, and somebody will come up with a fantastic new idea.
I can't really think of any big-profile MMOs coming down the pipe, to be honest. I mean, Star Citizen, yes, okay.
Oh, I downloaded that.
Well, we should have a segment on that, I think. But
no,
anyway.
I downloaded it.
Good.
I downloaded it, and then they did a massive patch an hour or two after.
But there's all these Kickstarter things and all these little, sort of vanity-funded things.
Isn't there a Camelot something coming out?
Yeah, Camelot Unchained's betaing now, or very soon, and that's essentially a remake of Dark Age of Camelot, which was very popular and well received in its time, but is another sort of 15 to 20-year-old MMO.
Yeah, you can't ever feel the boat on that one has been well and truly missed.
Well, it's not that. No. This is it. We're in the age of Kickstart artisanal MMO retro experiences that people of a certain age like me will put down, way more money than a normal custom would, just to be able to recapture that lost youth, but with perhaps modern graphics and modern, technological sides of things. And perhaps that's where it is. Perhaps that's where it should be. Perhaps that's fine. If people want, people who want to keep these niche hobbies going out of their own pocket, then that's what we'll get. That's what we'll see, and that's fine. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, Secret World Legends. I this really was my last chance to try and see all that game, and I'm just not going to see it anymore. And the problem is, it's absolutely it. The moment-to-moment gameplay and the skill system and the game itself, as a game, it's pretty average. Average going on poor. But the story was fascinating. The story was interesting. I'd love to just read a novel of the Secret World. I'd like to see someone from Funcom sit down and just write a good 300-page.
Is there not a really good wiki?
Maybe I ought to just work my way through the wiki, reading the walkthroughs of all the stories, because it might be more rewarding and more satisfying, because you don't have this constant. And now you must go literally on the Secret World Legends retooling of Solomon Island. There are stages where you must now go away and get to level 20. It's like, or get to level 30 before it'll let you do any more of the interesting story.
That's the sort of thing that encourages me to come back.
Yeah, exactly. It's that sort of, I'm really into this, slam straight into some narrative wall, and now you must go away and grind your arse off before we're going to dole out another little breadcrumb of interesting content. And you just think, what?
We've got a level system. It doesn't quite cover all the content.
Yeah. Well, no, because the original, you could do it, you could attempt it at any point, but you're just so overwhelmed by it.
But you should be able to play through these things. If you go off and level, that's just make busy work.
It is literally make busy work. Yeah, it's because
my time is worth more than they think it is.
I'm beginning to understand that perhaps my time might be worth something after all as well. Yeah, I've got a low opinion of the value of my time, which is why I'm quite happy to play MMOs a lot of the time. But I would just love to read through, a good Secret World trilogy of novels and just find out what it was all about, what's going on, because it does a fantastic job of setting up all manner of weird, inexplicable things. It is essentially a contemporary set novel where all of the rumours and conspiracies and myths are true.
Yeah, which is a fascinating.
Yeah, it's a fantastic concept. It's very much sort of a bit like American Gods, that sort of modern mythology type of exploration. And there's the filth, this like black liquid that's appearing everywhere, and what is that really? Where's it all come from? And then they've got this black bloke in the black clothes and the woman in the white clothes who appear to you in a dream at the start just before you get your powers, and what's going on with that? And you get that doled out in little fragments between massive long stretches of now go and kill a million zombies, and you just think, all right, well, this story's good, but it's not that good, and you sort of get a bit fed up with it all.
Yeah.
So, and I thought with Legends it would have been tightened up and more streamlined, and we'd have had a serious opportunity to go through it and see it all properly, and it's just not happened really. I mean, partly it's our fault, partly scheduling. We haven't really, and there's nothing at all stopping me from just breaking away and soloing my way onward.
Yes, there
just
is.
Because there's no static group now, I could carry on my own.
There is a perfect reason why you're not.
I can't be asked.
Yeah.
There you go.
You don't think it's worthwhile.
Because we tended to sort of do the solo storyline as a group, which basically means you can do it fast and you can do it at a pace which makes good narrative sense.
Yeah.
Instead of the pace they tortuously give to you as a solo player to keep you busy and keep you subscribing and keep you paying in the cash shop, I suppose. Anyway, long story short, we bounced off that. We also are not playing Neverwinter Nights. That was a shame. We were doing the Shadows of Undrentide campaign. I mean, it's a very retro thing. This is the enhanced edition that Beamdog have recently put out, which came with all the different expansions as part of the thing. And I'd never seen the Shadows of Undrentide, but it turned out to be quite a generic story in the end. The magic evil artifacts have been kept in a safe place, but oh no, they've been taken, and it was sort of following it around, and the old Neverwinter tile set, Neverwinter Nights tile set and construction set. Yeah, it was revolutionary in its time, let's put it that way. Because prior to Neverwinter Nights, it was all 2D sprites, Baldur's Gate engine stuff. So, but I don't know. Even as a retro experience, it does show its age. It's very laggy, and it doesn't do multiplayer very well at all.
Yeah, that's the problem with games of that age.
Well, Neverwinter Nights in particular is very, very laggy, because what they do is it's a client server thing, even with solo player. And so when you click on a place to move, and it will send, all right, I'm going to move here now, here you go. Right, and you sit there and you wait for it. Oh, I've moved over there. And your character sort of lags their way, drifts their way across. It's really hands off. It's the opposite of tight. In terms of, click, immediate feedback response type loop. And then what's further complicated is that if you've got 4 or 5 players actually in the world all at the same time and they all click in the same place, and then you write one down and post it, and then it goes, oh no, hang on, no, oh, he's moved there, so they can't both be in the same place. Oh, we'll put you over there. So your characters like they're all sort of ping-ponging around and sort of blocking each other and trying to. And the pathfinding's atrocious because it's a tile-based thing.
Yeah.
So
now that should make it easier.
Well, I don't know.
It really should make it easier.
It must. You must. Once you. I never designed a level in Neverwinter Nights. Presumably, you create the level and then it will process it to create pathing. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has some really, really generic thing that just doesn't work very well.
I'd guess it would put down nodes to the major points. Then you start to move you around between it.
I don't know. But it can't. It can't really cope very elegantly with collision problems with multiple players all trying to do the same thing in the same space. It's just you get blocked all over the place,
and the obvious solution of just make the people.
Well, the combat also is very paff, you're dead type. It's quite extreme. Because it's using Dungeons and Dragons rule sets, which tend to do that. It's a system that tends to allow for insta-killed wizards with one arrow.
And the online D&D or the D&D games, the computer ones, lacking that whole.
Well, if you
DM deciding now, actually, if I kill everyone the first round of the first combat of this adventure, that's a bad thing. So I'm going to fudge this.
You lie a bit. You can, exactly. You want to keep the game interesting and fun. You don't want your entire party wiped out through their
as much as I like to joke about the idea that the DM's job is to kill the first player, as an example, the DM's job is actually to find ways to stop the players from dying.
Well, you shouldn't be afraid of punishing idiocy necessarily,
but just general day to day.
Oh God, they've rolled 15 ones in a row. That can't be good. No, we'll lie about some of those maybe.
Yeah.
But also there's a particular problem with if you religiously implement rules as written from a pen and paper based game with dice and pizza and Cheetos and sitting around a table into a computer game. The computer is going to implement those utterly ruthlessly and with huge speed as well. Yeah. Which means that a combat that's getting a bit out of hand in a pen and paper game just suddenly goes woof. Yeah. It just disappears. You're gone straight away. Yeah, you're gone straight away when a computer does all those numbers for you. There's no sort of time to think about what you're going to do next between each dice roll. It's oh my god, we're all dead, because the computer will just go roll, boom, 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 boom. When it's controlling its monsters. And so for Neverwinter Nights, it's not a question of it's got a pause function. That's nice. I can go to the loo or I can get a drink. No, you have to use the pause constantly during every fight, literally second by second. As soon as you've issued a command, push pause now, have a think. It's and with 4 or 5 people all trying to do that at the same time, sharing the pause button.
No, but the problem is that D&D was inherently turn-based.
Yes,
and the game is not.
Neverwinter Nights is real time. Yeah, exactly.
And so just taking the rule sets vertebrum across is not the best decision.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why most decent computer role playing games come up with their own system and implement real time from the go, or they are a turn based thing with a grid and you move your people. Right now, your turn. And I've seen some quite good modern sort of indie type computer role-playing games which are grid-based and turn-based. You move your characters, they have a certain number of action points and so on, and that's a good way to implement it. But trying to implement exactly pen and paper game into a real-time computer game, and it just the sudden increase in speed on the GM's part is utterly brutal and ruthless. So Neverwinter Nights was good in its day and the best of what we had at the time, but I think nowadays I don't think it works very well. And we had an unfortunate scheduling slot as well. Sunday afternoon, people are busy and going places and doing stuff, so we couldn't really get everyone together at the same time. And again, there's nothing stopping me soloing onward, but well, actually there is, because Teppo got all the save files. That's the other problem with Neverwinter Nights: no server. One player is the server, so if that player can't turn up, no play, because they've got all the save. You can sort of put it in a Dropbox somewhere and have someone else load it up, maybe, but we never really sorted all that out. Then you've got versioning issues. It's a lot of faff, frankly, when there are better tools for that available, which is most MMOs these days.
Better tools, better games.
Yeah, exactly. So those are what we're not playing. We're still playing Warframe a lot. I can't see us stopping on that. We're getting into the new stuff. There's a whole big new story-based update, the Sacrifice. It's the new stuff. It's all quite fascinating. It's difficult to talk about the story in Warframe without spoilering it all magnificently, because there's some fantastic moments in there that I really did appreciate and enjoy. And I'm imagining this latest big expansion, which is a very story-focused one, probably has some similar stuff as well. But still going with that. Still going with Lotro, still going with Pathfinder. But apart from that, I don't know where we're going next. I might just,
take some time for yourself.
Yeah, well, might not suggest we should all immediately leap into
Enjoy
a new
the
thing.
summer.
I imagine new static group projects will come up in time, but for the moment, yeah, I'm quite content just to coast with what we have. Maybe pick up a few more single-player games so I can talk about on the show. Anyway, anything else?
I discovered a game.
Oh, well, go on then.
I literally discovered it in a box when I was going through some stuff. Star Trek Armada 1.
Oh, that sounds vaguely familiar.
Yes, it's the top-down RTS-y Star Trek games.
Yeah.
Now, these things are, one, incredibly out of print because Activision don't have the Star Trek license anymore, so they can't go up on GOG or anywhere.
Oh.
So, having a copy on CD or finding a copy somewhere else,
That's
which is
really
also
though. I mean, you see some Star Trek stuff on GOG, the old 25th anniversary.
that goes way
point
back.
and click adventure. Is that before the?
Oh yeah, you see, at the moment you can't have EA have got the license for Star Trek, so they're not going to let Activision release anything
Okay.
because no, they haven't. Who's got the license for Star Trek?
I don't know.
Can't remember. Anyway, someone's got it, but
Because there was the most recent Star Trek thing I remember was the Bridge Commander VR thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The
actually.
Bridge Crew, Bridge
is
Team
that?
one. I don't
Can't
know who
remember.
that was, but
yeah. Anyway, yeah, but
it's still a marketable property. Yeah.
Then Activision aren't allowed to release it because they don't have the license, so they're not allowed to make money off it, not allowed to sell it. So what you're going to do?
Give it away.
You can't do that either because you don't have the license to do it. It's not yours. It does not belong to you. So I found the CD, but enterprising people out there may sorted there. I could possibly find a copy.
Clever.
And the important thing is you download the 1.2 patch, then the 1.3 patch, which I don't think is actually an official patch, and then you download this guy's other patch, which he's put up on GitHub. And what that does is corrects the calls to the Direct 3D initialization code, which stops it running on Windows 10. Then you spend a good hour faffing around trying to get the whole damn thing to work in a proper resolution.
The joys of abandonware. Yeah.
And then eventually you've got it running in 1440p full graphics.
You must really want to play this. That's a lot of effort. Or did the technical challenge of getting it going was the game itself for you?
Sunk cost fallacy.
Well, I thoroughly support that outlook. I mean, I buy games for life. I don't just rent them for a year.
I now have it working almost flawlessly, and I'm very, very happy.
Excellent.
And I've been playing it, and game design's changed.
You've remembered how bad it is.
It's harsh. It's not bad. It's good.
Okay.
It's just harsh. You can go from
Games were more difficult.
You can go from winning a mission to this mission is now completely lost, game over, in a couple of seconds. So basically, if you don't know what it is, because
Get good.
It's a game where you have various ships from the Star Trek world, universe. And you also have base building. So you build a star base, you build a gathering thing, you build a shipyard to make more things, and you often send them off in little fleets to go fight people on these 2D maps. And then there's nebulas you can hide in, and asteroid fields you can fly around.
Sounds quite elaborate.
Occasionally there'll be an abandoned ship you can take over by sending people over using your transporter, which is a fantastic bit of technology which you may not know about. And actually the game does really still stand up. It's a bit simplistic because it's always the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But what I was really craving a bit of the old school RTS game because I've been playing some of the more recent ones. The stuff that we get given nowadays, and they don't scratch that itch anymore.
Are there recent RTSs?
Dawn of Wars and
Yeah. I still get them now and then.
Even Star Wars, whatever its name, thingy Blizzard one.
StarCraft.
StarCraft, that's the one.
StarCraft 2.
Yeah, the StarCraft 2 I didn't like because it was too focused. It was all seemed to be that the commando mission from Command & Conquer and that sort of level, units. The hero units. Yeah. Not I'm going to make a small fleet and send them off to attack stuff. And I wanted something a bit more retro like that because that's the sort of experience I wanted.
Homeworld. That's an old school
I wanted a fun experience where you although I need to finish replaying the re-release of Homeworld.
I need to get the remastered one and give that a go
because that's a lot less harsh. Also, I need to finish Deserts of whatever, which was the
Deserts of Karak.
Yeah, which was the on the planet one, where you
sort of prequel, yeah.
which was actually fantastic. And then I stopped playing for whatever reason. Possibly a mission was too hard. I can't remember. I might have said it on the show, but I doubt it. Somebody go back, listen to them all, and tell me. And while you're doing it, come up with a list of all the games to talk about.
I thought the reason we did these was as a sort of diary for ourselves. If we can't be bothered to go back and look at them, then there's no point really.
Yeah. Yeah, it is one of the questions. Why do we do this?
Yeah.
We don't ask them. Anyway, yeah. Star Trek Armada, the first one, now it works and is playable. It's still fun, incredibly harsh, and there is quite a lot of voice acting in it. Some taken from the show, some by real people.
Okay.
Like I'm pretty sure that's Patrick Stewart saying stuff which wasn't in the show.
Oh.
Or if it was, I can't remember. But there's definitely bits where Patrick Stewart saying stuff which was in the show, and they just put it in because you can always tell when they lifted something from the show because the sound design is completely different. There's a lot more echo on it because he was in a room, and the second mission, I think it was, is one where you're a Worf in a ship which most definitely is not the Defiant, but looks like the Defiant. Was released 2001, so wonder why that decision was made. Did the Defiant get destroyed at the end of DS9 in the end? I can't remember.
Yes.
He got destroyed at one point, and then the Valiant got was it Valiant? One of them got renamed to be the Defiant.
Yes.
I can't remember. It's been so long since I watched it. But anyway, niggling about starships. It's quite interesting. It's got a large amount of ships. It's got ships they've designed.
Yeah.
They all look stupid. There is a rule about Star Trek. If the ship comes from the TV show or even the movies, because some of the new movie ones are a bit hot roddy, they look okay. Yeah. If it has been designed for the game, it never looks good.
There's a lot of that in Star Trek Online.
There is indeed.
Yeah. You can tell which ones were actually in a show.
Yeah. I don't know why.
The hell is that?
Nobody can quite capture that design language, and they always decide to go off on one.
They just take the saucer and stick it in unusual places.
It's like when I was playing Star Trek Online.
Look, this one's got 6 nacelles. Why?
And I was using a made-up original series era ship, and it was just awful bits of another thing put together in completely the wrong order for the language of the show.
You're going to be that guy, you are, aren't you?
Going to be.
Fair enough.
You know.
Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, it's really good. It's still fun to play. You can't buy it, so tough. And it's quite expensive on eBay, so tough. And heaven forbid anyone would actually say it's available for free if you really want.
No one.
No, it can. You just download it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, anything else?
No.
Do your spiel.
No, don't ask me what I learned this week.
No, don't really care.
Oh, because I actually did learn something important.
Oh, go on then. What did you learn this week? I keep forgetting to do that.
The Flatliners reboot is really not worth watching.
I'd picked up as much from various web commenting. Yeah, Flatliners itself wasn't great.
No, Flatliners was terrible. And the worst thing about the reboot of Flatliners is what's his name turns up? Jack Bauer guy thingy. Oh, I've forgotten his name. Anyway, he turns up in it, and you think, oh, it's going to tie back to the original film because it's going to be fantastic because he's in it. And no, it's a different character. Okay. Just somebody from the original film, different character.
I've learnt that my new boots are great. I got new,
they made for
new
walking?
hiking boots. They are made for walking. I took them up to the Brecon Beacons, went up the top and came down. No video, just a day out like a normal person. And yeah, they're fantastic. I was worried because I thought, they're brand new. I better break them in because I'm going to be wearing them for the September Coast Path thing. And I thought, I'm going to be just torn up blisters because they're new and stuff. No, fine.
No I haven't had to break in walking boots for a long time.
Breaking in boots is probably...
It's back when they were hard leather.
Yeah, well, these are hard leather. I mean, that's not, like mesh and stuff. It's proper boots.
Well, it's like,
I think I just got the right size. Breaking in is when you bought the wrong size and you have to mould your feet painfully to fit the boots. But no, these are good, so we'll all go for future hiking.
That's cool.
It's a nice day out as well.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that. Yeah, so now do your spiel.
You can go along to howaboutatime.com, see stuff, go to YouTube, try and see stuff. If you want to listen to the audio version of this, like most people do, you can go along to howaboutatime.com and look at all the podcast archives. If you want to consider looking at the video, because no one does, you can go along and look at the video stuff on YouTube.
Or don't.
Or don't.
It's fine. So with that, we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.